Welcome to the Book Swap Cafe. When we lose a loved one, we often wonder, where do they go? Well, perhaps our guest today is going to be able to help us answer some of those questions, and we might begin to learn a little more of the world beyond. But first, I'd like to welcome Mickey to the show. Welcome, Mickey.
Thank you, Anita.
You got another fabulous book you're going to be doing with us.
Yes, I do, but I'm anxious to get to our guest today, and I'm very anxious to hear what she has to tell us about her book. Let me introduce to you Gretchen Vogel, author and medium. Gretchen?
Hi.
Welcome, Gretchen.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm honored at your courage to have somebody a little bit controversial on the show, perhaps.
Well, we want to hear a lot about this. This is a subject I've been interested in for many, many years.
Oh, yes, we're
Thank
excited.
you so
Excited
much
to
for
get so
having
many
me.
questions to ask you. Where do we begin?
Well, I like to begin with the good news and the bad news about the afterlife. The good news is we're not different people after we drop our physical body. The bad news is we're not different people after we drop our physical body. Some people hope that physical death will transform them, but one of my favorite quotes in the book is, "Death is not a ticket to enlightenment. Enlightenment happens here in life, if it is to happen at all." We're supposed to get our reality and make our connections and understand why we exist here in life. It doesn't happen after, it happens here. So the study of the afterlife is really the study of life. And that was something that I didn't realize until I was really done with the book. It's like, oh my goodness, I've learned so much about life from the deceased. A lot of my book is my conversations with the deceased. I've been a practicing medium since the mid-'80s, but I never came out of the closet, so to speak, until the book was out. I would work with families with their bereaved loved ones and simply communicate and help facilitate an easing of their grief and a degree of healing, which is what I feel that my gift is for. And then when I started to pull together the stories of the deceased, I started to see a real similarity in their stories, and that began to be my focus. So this book has been in the works for about 15 years.
Oh, wow.
It's been a long, long process to write it.
Now, similarities in what way?
Well, for one thing, everybody has their own subjective view of life. Nobody sees life the same way. We all can only perceive life with our own internal view. And the afterlife is like that too. So that if somebody says that they have one formula or one way or rules about how this is going to happen, don't believe them, because it can't. Everybody's experience of how they transition out of their physical body is different. Everybody's reality, once they're out of their physical body and begin to look around and realize that, yes, they're still themselves, they're just not in physical, but they're still here. That process is very different for everybody. So there are no rules. It's such an individual process for everybody. And there really is no judgment except what we bring with us. So I guess this is early to kind of get into this subject, but say, for example, that you've spent your whole life really trying to learn, which I know that everybody in this room has. We try and do our best. We're not saints. Yeah, we've let people down. We've hurt people. I mean, we're human. That comes, with being a human. But we have tried more than we haven't tried. And so we've tried to learn from our mistakes, and we've just tried to improve life and take care of what's around us. I mean, we don't have to, be very elevated people, but we learn. And as we know, as we get older, life does get better because we learn. But there are people who don't strive, who really don't try, who really don't learn from their mistakes, who become dedicated to destroying what's around them and destroying everything they can that's within their power to destroy. And those people, when they leave their physical body, don't have an array of choices because they've narrowed their mental view so much. They've cultivated ignorance. I like that way of saying it. You know, some people cultivate knowledge, some people cultivate ignorance. So people who cultivate ignorance during their life, when they leave their physical body, they don't see the possibilities. They just don't really get things as well. They don't have as good a quality of life, and they don't have as good a quality of afterlife. So there isn't judgment, but what we do in life does echo throughout eternity. So in that sense, I guess that's interpreted as judgment. But getting back to how we're the same people, we have the same sense of humor. We have the same coping mechanisms. We have the same problem-solving skills. We have the same intellect. We have the same memories. We have the same emotional range. And we have the same spiritual outlook as we did in physical life. So we carry all of our qualities with us into the afterlife. So really, it's in so many ways, it's more the same than it is different. There's a real continuity between our state in life and our state in the afterlife.